Go ahead and grab your tinfoil hats because today's video is all about conspiracy theories. I'll get into everything from chemtrails, direct energy weapons, the Illuminati, the Antichrist, and even demonic soul traps. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around. The seat of Satan. Imagine living in a city that's so steeped in darkness that it's nicknamed Satan's throne. That's exactly how Jesus described Pergamum, a city in the ancient world that's mentioned in the book of Revelation. But why was Pergamum so bad? And what does it mean for us today? First, let me set the scene. Pergamum was a bustling city known for its massive altar to Zeus, a 40-foot-high structure that resembled a throne and dominated the landscape. Visitors would see the smoke rising from sacrifices made to Zeus long before they even reached the city. But this wasn't just any altar. It was a constant reminder of the dark spiritual forces at work within the city. Zeus, however, wasn't the only deity worshipped in Pergamum. This place also housed the temple of Asclepius, the so-called god of healing. People from all over the world would come here hoping to be cured. They would lie on the temple floor and allow snakes to slither over them as if these serpents were magic. Creepy? Definitely. Effective? Well, that's up for debate. The symbol of Asclepius, a snake wrapped around a staff, is still seen in medical symbols today. Jesus warned the Christians in Pergamum that they lived where Satan's throne was. It wasn't just the pagan temples people had to worry about. Pergamum was also the center of the cult of Caesar, where citizens were expected to declare Caesar is Lord. For Christians, this was a death sentence if they refused. Man, they really went through it, living in constant fear of being forced to choose between their faith and their life. And yet, despite all this, Jesus praised the Pergamum Christians for holding fast to their faith, even when one of their own, Antipas, was killed for it. However, Jesus also had some harsh words. Some in the church were following dangerous teachings like those of Balaam, which led people into idolatry and immorality. Jesus wasn't messing around. He called these teachings out and demanded repentance. He even threatened to bring the sword of his mouth, a symbol of his authority and judgment, against those who refused. Who would you be more afraid to turn against if you lived in Pergamum? Jesus or Caesar? Let me know in the comments. Secrets of the Illuminati. Have you ever wondered if there's a secret society plotting to take over the world, pulling strings behind the scenes with every major event? Who am I kidding? Of course you have. I'm sure the thought has crossed your mind at least once or twice before. Let's talk about the Illuminati, a shadowy group that's become the center of countless conspiracy theories, with famous celebrities and even presidents being members. So, what's the real story behind this mysterious organization? It all began in 1776 when Adam Weishaupt, a Bavarian professor, founded the Illuminati. His goal? To create a world where religion and government were obsolete and society was ruled by reason and equality. It doesn't sound too crazy, right? Well, just wait. Weishaupt wanted to overthrow the powerful institutions of his time. So to do this, he created a secret society with a very clear mission: to infiltrate and disrupt the establishment. The Illuminati used symbols to represent their power, like the Owl of Minerva and the All-Seeing Eye, which is otherwise known as the Eye of Providence. Members even had code names to keep their identities hidden, with Weishaupt himself going by Brother Spartacus, after the famous gladiator. But this wasn't just some club for rebels. The Illuminati was a serious organization with strict rules. Recruits were required to spy on others, report back regularly, and eventually sign an oath of loyalty, swearing to uphold the society's goals. If they broke the rules, they faced dire consequences. But despite their secretive nature, the Illuminati didn't stay under the radar for long. They began to spread their influence across Europe, infiltrating public offices and courts. But the group's ambitions were eventually uncovered. In 1785, Duke of Bavaria Karl Theodor banned secret societies and cracked down on the Illuminati, forcing them to disband. But did they? While the Illuminati effectively dissolved, some believe that they went underground, continuing to influence world events from the shadows. In fact, authors like John Robeson and Abbé Augustin Baruel argued that the Illuminati survived. They claimed that the Illuminati played a role in major historical events, including the French Revolution. Even George Washington mentioned them, fueling the flames of conspiracy. Fast forward to modern times, and the Illuminati has become a pop culture phenomenon. From books like Dan Brown's Angels and Demons to the infamous eye in a triangle symbol on the US dollar bill, the idea of a secret society controlling the world has captured the imagination of many. But is there any truth to it? Well, as Beyoncé herself says, y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess. Sometimes a conspiracy is just a conspiracy. Nothing more, nothing less. Do you think that's the case here? And now for number 9, but first I wanted to give a big shout out to Maxton and Dad and Amber, Taylor, Emily, Daniel. Thanks so much for watching and supporting OE. This channel wouldn't be what it is today without viewers like you. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and join the family. Baba Vanga's predictions. 2024 has been quite a wild ride so far, and if you believe in the prophecies of Baba Vanga, a blind Bulgarian mystic, it might just be the beginning. Baba Vanga, who passed away in 1996, is famous for her eerie ability to predict major world events. She's credited with foreseeing 9/11, the Chernobyl disaster, and even Princess Diana's tragic death. So what did she have to say about 2024? Are her predictions really coming true? One of Baba Vanga's most alarming predictions was about extreme weather events and natural disasters. She foresaw severe heat waves and other extreme weather conditions disrupting the world. And guess what? Studies show that global heat waves are occurring 67% more often than they used to, with temperatures soaring higher than ever. Scientists are even warning that 2024 could be another record-breaking hot year, something Baba Vanga seemed to have known long before it was on anyone's radar. But that's not all. Baba Vanga also predicted a rise in cyber attacks, especially targeting critical infrastructure. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, recent events suggest that she might have been onto something. AT&T recently discovered a massive data breach, with information on millions of customers appearing on the dark web. Apple, Meta, and other tech giants have also faced cybersecurity attacks in the past year. And in July 2024, planes around the globe were grounded thanks to a technical issue with Microsoft. Could this be what Baba Vanga warned us about? On the economic front, Baba Vanga predicted a deepening global financial crisis in 2024. With inflation making life tough for millions and major economies like Japan and the UK struggling, it seems like her prophecy is hitting close to home. Even the US is feeling the pinch, with fears of economic decline looming. On another note, perhaps one of the most hopeful predictions she made for 2024 was the potential for breakthroughs in treating incurable diseases like Alzheimer's and cancer. It looks like there's some good news on that front. In the UK, a new lung cancer vaccine is under development. Meanwhile, Russia is reportedly working on advanced cancer vaccines and immunotherapy drugs. However, not all of Baba Vanga's predictions are so hopeful. She also warned of increased terrorist activities in Europe. She even hinted at a potential assassination attempt on Russian President Vladimir Putin by one of his own countrymen. But maybe she got her leaders mixed up, because on July 13, 2024, Donald Trump narrowly avoided a bullet to the head at his campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Who knows what will happen in the coming months? Only time will tell if these dark prophecies come true. And in case you're wondering, Baba Vanga's visions stretch all the way to the year 5079. That's when she predicted that the world will end. But for now, it seems like we have enough to keep us on our toes in 2024. Spraying us like bugs. Next time you go outside, I want you to look up at the sky and see if you notice any unnatural-looking white streaks. Many times these streaks form giant X's among normal clouds. They're called contrails or condensation trails, and they're formed when water vapor from aircraft exhaust condenses and freezes at high altitude. At least, that's what science says. But what if those streaks aren't just innocent puffs of vapor? Hold on to your hats, because we're about to enter the wild world of the chemtrails conspiracy theory. This is a belief that those contrails are actually chemicals being sprayed by the government to control us or the weather. Listen to this and let me know your thoughts in the comments. The chemtrail conspiracy has been around since 1996. It all started with an Air Force research paper discussing weather modification as a military strategy. While the government claims that this paper doesn't reflect current practices, some people believe it's a smoking gun. According to the theory, those streaks in the sky are way more than just water vapor. They're toxic chemicals being secretly released by the government or wealthy elites. But why would they do that? Well, opinions vary. Some say it's for mind control, others for poisoning the population, and a few think it's a way to control the weather. Even though there's a lack of scientific evidence, belief in chemtrails has persisted. During the Cold War, the British and US governments conducted tests involving chemical dispersal to study biological warfare. This history adds a layer of credibility to the theory, fueling the idea that governments might still be up to no good. Even though these tests happened decades ago, the idea that we are being sprayed like bugs has taken on a life of its own, especially on social media. In fact, a 2017 study found that about 10% of Americans believe in chemtrails, and another 30% think there might be some truth to it. But is there any real evidence? Scientists have repeatedly debunked the chemtrails theory, arguing that such a massive operation would be impossible to hide. Even Edward Snowden, who's famous for leaking classified information, has said that chemtrails aren't real, and yet the conspiracy lives on. Some meteorologists have even received threats from believers accusing them of covering up the truth. So are those streaks in the sky just harmless contrails, or is there something more sinister going on? The debate rages on, and with the internet's help, the chemtrails conspiracy shows no signs of disappearing anytime soon. What do you think? Are we really being sprayed, or is it all just a cover-up? 5G conspiracy. There's a wild theory that claims 5G technology could secretly be making people sick. As 5G networks continue to expand across the globe, bringing faster internet speeds and more reliable connections, a shadow of doubt has emerged among some people. They fear that this invisible force could be harming their health. But is there any truth to these concerns, or is it all just a misunderstanding of science? But first things first, what exactly is 5G? Developed in 2019, 5G is the fifth generation of wireless communication technology. It's the new standard for smartphones and other devices, offering faster data speeds and better connectivity. But what sets 5G apart from previous generations like 4G and 3G? The key difference is the frequency it uses to transmit data. 5G operates on higher radio frequencies than its predecessors, which allows for faster information transfer. This has led to some worrying that these higher frequencies could be dangerous. One of the most common fears is that the electromagnetic radiation emitted by 5G could cause health problems like cancer. But here's the thing, there are two types of EMF, ionizing and non-ionizing. Ionizing radiation, like the kind you get from X-rays, can damage DNA and has been linked to cancer. However, 5G uses non-ionizing radiation, which doesn't have enough energy to cause such damage. According to experts like Christopher Collins from New York University, the frequencies used by 5G are nowhere near powerful enough to be harmful. In fact, the frequency at which radiation becomes dangerous is about 3 million gigahertz, while 5G maxes out at just over 50 gigahertz. What a relief! But there are other claims that 5G can cause heating of body tissues, which sounds pretty terrifying if you ask me. It's true that EMF can cause tissue heating, but the levels emitted by 5G are so low that the effect is insignificant. It's nothing compared to the heat you feel from the sun on a hot day. So in short, while your skin might absorb a tiny bit of energy from 5G signals, it's not enough to impact your health. At least, that's what they say. Despite these reassurances, some experts still voice concerns about the long-term effects of 5G. They argue that since 5G is so new, there hasn't been enough time to fully study its potential impact. For instance, a 2021 study noted that genetic effects of EMF could depend on various factors like frequency and exposure duration, suggesting that more research is needed. There's also the issue of cybersecurity risks associated with 5G. With more data being transmitted, there's more room for potential hacking or malicious software. But when it comes to health, major organizations like the World Health Organization and the FDA have declared 5G safe. Do you believe them? Taylor Swift, mother of the Antichrist. Taylor Swift is more than just a pop superstar. She's practically a magnet for conspiracy theories. While she's busy topping charts and selling out stadiums, some people are busy spinning wild tales about her. First off, Taylor's ability to reinvent herself is legendary. From her country roots to her bold pop anthems, she's always changing her look and sound. It's almost like she's a new person with every album. Remember her album Lover with its pastel colors, or Folklore with its moody grays? Come on, Swifties, I know you're out there. Each era brings a fresh vibe, and her fans, known as Swifties, eagerly follow along. But these constant changes have led some to wonder, who really is Taylor Swift? Is there something more hidden behind her carefully crafted image? One of the wildest conspiracy theories claims that Taylor is destined to give birth to the Antichrist. Yes, you heard that right. This outlandish idea isn't just a random thought. It's fueled by her relationship with Travis Kelce, an NFL star who's progressive in a traditionally conservative sport. Combine this with the fact that Taylor herself has become more vocal about her political views, and you've got a recipe for some seriously bizarre speculation. In today's world, where certain groups are deeply entrenched in their own beliefs, it's not that big of a leap from one crazy idea to another. Another theory that some people can't get over is that Swift is a clone. And not just any clone, but the clone of Xena Shrek. Who's that? Well, she's the former high priestess of the Church of Satan. Yep, her giving birth to the Antichrist doesn't seem too far-fetched now, does it? Just look at Xena and then look at T. Swift. They look almost identical. Xena was the daughter of Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan. So maybe he made some kind of deal with the devil, one that would give Xena fame and success, just so long as she changed her name. Who knows? People are even accusing Taylor Swift of performing demonic rituals at her concerts. Shane Lynch, a born-again Christian and Irish musician, has targeted Swift recently for this exact reason. According to Lynch, Swift performs rituals that have to do with pentagrams and witchcraft. Lynch claims that music is dangerous these days and that many artists, including Taylor Swift, hide satanic messages in their songs. But is that true? Let me know your thoughts down below. Direct energy weapons. The Maui wildfires of August 2023 were devastating, but what if there's more to the story than just dry weather and high winds? That's what some conspiracy theorists are claiming, with a wild idea that the government might have used directed energy weapons, or DEWs, to start the fires. DEWs are futuristic-sounding weapons that use high-energy lasers or electromagnetic waves to hit targets with precision. The US military has spent billions developing these, but they're mostly stuck in labs, not out burning forests. So why do some people believe these were used in Maui? It turns out that social media is a powerful force. When a few pictures of lasers and light beams started circulating, it wasn't long before theories caught fire, pun intended. But turns out, these images were from years ago, and they were totally unrelated to Maui. One of the stranger claims is about the color blue. Videos and posts online show how certain blue objects like umbrellas, cars, and even Oprah Winfrey's mansion, which allegedly has a blue roof, seem to survive the fire better than anything else. But is this just a coincidence, or something more sinister? According to these theorists, the fact that blue objects were less damaged proves that DEWs were selectively targeting other colors. But is there any real evidence to support this? Well, the short answer is no. While these posts are eye-catching, they're based on little more than cherry-picked images and wild speculation. Oprah's house, for instance, wasn't even in the part of Maui where the fires did the most damage. And the pictures of blue roofs and cars, many of them aren't even from Maui. Should we be concerned? Is CERN's Large Hadron Collider a cutting-edge machine searching for the secrets of the universe, or is it actually evil? Scientists insist that they are using the world's largest particle collider to study fundamental particles like the Higgs boson. However, some corners of the internet are buzzing with a much darker theory. They think that CERN could actually be trying to open a portal to hell. So, what is the LHC really doing? According to scientists, it's all about smashing particles together at high speeds to recreate conditions just after the Big Bang. And honestly, that sounds pretty cool. But not everyone is buying that story. On social media, some people are convinced that this machine is designed to do more than just study particles. To them, it's a gateway to another dimension, or even the underworld itself. One popular theory claims that CERN is summoning the devil. Conspiracy theorists point out that CERN's logo supposedly contains 666, the infamous number of the beast. And as if that's not spooky enough, they also note that the collider's loop is 16.6 miles in circumference, which is close enough to the devil's number to raise some eyebrows. According to these theorists, CERN is using the LHC to rip open a portal to hell beneath the Earth's surface. It seems crazy, but just wait because it gets even weirder. If summoning the devil isn't your thing, how about some shadow people? Another theory suggests that CERN is inviting shadow people from another dimension into our world. These beings are described as amorphous black clouds that are vaguely shaped like humans. They're supposedly lurking just out of sight, ready to give you the creeps. But what exactly do they do? No one's really sure, but it certainly can't be anything good. Then there's the Hollywood connection. Some conspiracy theorists believe that movies like Stranger Things and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness are secretly preparing us for CERN's true intentions, opening a portal to another dimension. After all, if it's in the movies, it must be true, right? But here's the big question. Why would scientists want to do any of this? The answer, according to these theories, ranges from satanic influence to sheer arrogance. But let's be honest, if scientists were really that creative and capable, wouldn't they come up with something a bit more exciting than a plot straight out of a Marvel movie? While these theories are entertaining, there's no solid proof behind them. So for now, it looks like the LHC is staying firmly in the realm of science, not sci-fi. The threat of artificial intelligence. We've received warnings over and over again throughout the years that AI will bring about the end of humanity. But until recently, nobody really took these warnings seriously. Now, though, according to a new report commissioned by the US State Department, this idea might be closer to reality than we think. The report, released by Gladstone AI, warns that advanced AI systems could pose an extinction-level threat to humans if we are not careful. The report is based on interviews with over 200 experts, including top AI executives, cybersecurity researchers, and national security officials. Their message? While AI has the potential to revolutionize everything from medicine to technology, it also carries significant risks that could be catastrophic. One of the scariest possibilities outlined in the report is that AI could be weaponized. Imagine AI systems being used to launch untraceable cyber attacks, crash power grids, or even manipulate elections. The report suggests that AI's power could be so great that it might lead to weapons of mass destruction scale fatal accidents. This draws a chilling comparison to the introduction of nuclear weapons. But that's not the only danger. Some AI researchers worry that we could lose control of these superintelligent systems altogether. Once AI reaches a certain level of capability, it might become impossible to shut down. This will especially be the case if it starts acting in ways that are harmful to humans. Could AI decide to prioritize its own goals over ours? It doesn't seem too unlikely. The report suggests that this could lead to devastating consequences for global security. So, what's being done to prevent this potential disaster? The report calls for dramatic new measures, including the creation of a new AI agency and emergency regulations to ensure safety and security. There's a sense of urgency because as AI continues to develop, the risks grow larger. Even some of the biggest names in AI, like Geoffrey Hinton, who's known as the godfather of AI, and Elon Musk, have raised alarms about the potential dangers. They've warned that AI could lead to human extinction within the next few decades. And the concern isn't just academic. Some employees at AI labs privately share these fears. With AI developing at a rapid pace, the question isn't just about what it can do, but whether we can keep it under control. So, what do you think? Could AI really be the force that ends humanity? Fluoride is making us zombies. The fluoride conspiracy theory is one of those stories that just won't fade out, whether you believe it or not. For decades, the idea has circulated that governments are adding fluoride to the water supply to control the population, turning people into docile, zombie-like citizens. Some even suggest that it's all part of a sinister plot involving the Illuminati, the fluoride mafia, including companies like Kellogg's and Nestle, and a secret government agenda. How did this conspiracy begin? The theory traces back to the late 1930s when a biochemist working for the Alcoa Company, an aluminium giant, conducted a study that linked fluoride to reduced cavities in rats. This led to the first proposal to fluoridate public water supplies in the US. Conspiracy theorists argue that this wasn't motivated by public health but by Alcoa's desire to dispose of toxic water, aka fluoride, profitably. The plot thickens when you consider World War II. During this time, the production of aluminium skyrocketed, leading to increased industrial fluoride pollution. Conspiracy theorists suggest that governments began adding fluoride to water post-war, not to protect teeth, but to keep populations in check. And as if that wasn't enough, some conspiracy buffs claim that Hitler used fluoride in concentration camps to keep prisoners submissive. They say that this practice was later adopted in Soviet gulags. Additionally, they argue that fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, the so-called third eye, preventing people from achieving higher spiritual consciousness. These ideas have gained traction, especially in New Age circles, where fluoride is viewed as a tool of mind control. And there's some science that fuels the fire. Studies have shown that fluoride can accumulate in the pineal gland, and a major report by the National Research Council in 2006 linked fluoride to various health issues. These issues include decreased melatonin production and possible negative effects on brain function. So, should you start worrying about your tap water? Before you do, here's the catch. The majority of these claims have been debunked or lack credible evidence. The story about Hitler using fluoride, for example, has no support from reputable historical sources. It's true that there are studies suggesting potential risks from fluoride. However, the overwhelming consensus in the scientific community is that at the levels used in water fluoridation, fluoride is safe and effective in preventing tooth decay. In recent years, though, some countries and regions have begun rethinking water fluoridation. Places like Sweden, the Netherlands, and Denmark have seen declines in tooth decay without fluoridation, leading some to question whether it's necessary. And yet, in countries like the US, fluoride remains a staple in public health, with millions of Americans drinking fluoridated water daily. So, is fluoride a hidden tool of mass control or just a misunderstood mineral? The jury's out in some circles, but science seems to be leaning towards the latter. While the conspiracy rages on, it's worth asking, could this really be the greatest public health conspiracy of all time, or just another internet-fueled rabbit hole? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The soul-catching net. Prepare yourself, because this next theory will have you up all night, hoping that it's not true. Imagine this: you die, but instead of drifting peacefully into the afterlife, you're caught in a cosmic trap that forces you to reincarnate over and over to keep you stuck in an endless loop. It sounds like the belief of some insane cult, right? But there's a conspiracy theory that says this is exactly what happens. It's a theory that claims we're all just prisoners in a matrix-like system where a soul-catching net keeps us from ever escaping. So what exactly is this soul-catching net? According to the theory, when you die, your soul leaves your body and is immediately snagged by this invisible net. It's like a cosmic fishing trap, but instead of releasing you, it wipes your memory and sends you right back into a new body to live another life on Earth. And the worst part? This process repeats endlessly, turning Earth into a sort of prison planet. But why would anyone, or anything, want to trap us like this? The answer, according to believers, lies in the idea of consciousness suppression. The theory suggests that powerful non-physical entities, often referred to as archons, jinn, or even demons, are behind this grand conspiracy. These beings supposedly feed off of our negative emotions, like fear, anger, and despair, and by keeping us trapped in a cycle of reincarnation, they ensure a constant supply of food. If that sounds a bit out there to you, you're not alone. Many people struggle to accept this idea because it clashes with their belief systems, whether it's the religious view of heaven and hell or the scientific belief that there's no such thing as a soul. The soul net theory challenges these ideas. It even questions the notion that reincarnation is part of a spiritual journey. But what about the famous white light at the end of the tunnel? You know, the one we're all told to walk toward when we die. According to this theory, that light is part of the trap. Instead of being a guide to the afterlife, it lures souls into the net, tricking them into reincarnating. This idea has even found its way into pop culture. Remember The Matrix? Morpheus reveals to Neo that humans are used as a power source for the controllers. Similarly, in this theory, humans generate energy for demons. Okay, but is there any truth to this? Well, actually there is. Some ancient texts, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, hint at the idea of breaking free from the cycle of reincarnation. They suggest that enlightenment and spiritual practice are the keys to escaping this cosmic trap. So are we really caught in an endless loop of reincarnation, feeding demons without physical bodies? Unfortunately, nobody can really say for sure. You know, given the whole memory wipe situation. What do you think about this soul trap theory? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.